I want to thank you all for
I hope you
joining.
do.
I want to thank you all for joining the newest episode of Dawn After Dusk. My name is Petty Officer Third Class Waterfall. If I could just get each and every one of you to state your name, and that'd be great.
Alright, well, since I'm at the top of the list, hi guys, I'm CT Lepson from Elite Platoon. What's
I
up?
thought you were Lance Corporal.
Shush, I'm a CT.
All right. Next.
I'm
Stop speaking. It's me.
Okay.
Okay, it's my turn.
Can you stop being disrespectful?
CT
Thank you.
All right.
CT Daiku. I'm a lead platoon. I'm not a lance corporal.
All right. Next.
Alright, Incognito, you're next.
I fucking Marshall
Alright, next.
on the ink and that.
Sounds about right. Sounds about
Bruh.
right.
You're right, you bitch.
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Next.
Continue on.
I'm Sergeant Faceless of Elite Platoon.
All right.
Yeah.
Next.
Next. I am CT Milo, CT 28144. I am currently an art candidate, so yeah, what's up everyone?
No, it's one of them podcasts. It's one of them professional ones.
I feel
So-
like this shit's an AA.
So yeah, big ups. Big ups.
Sorry, I'm
Guernsey, all my homies back
guys.
from Guernsey. Yeah, thank you. That's my time.
I know. Get out.
All
Get
right.
out.
All right. Who's next?
Future Arc Brother.
Future arc. Nah. You sick.
Killer go.
Okay, chill.
I'm
Killer should
Sergeant
be
Major
next.
Chiller.
He's Cadet Chiller.
Incognito, I'll slap you with the mighty hand.
Slap me.
But
Go on. Do
I'm
it.
Sergeant Major
Please do.
Chiller. 5649. I lead Dawn.
All right. Vander.
Alright, well, I am currently not in the 104th, but my numbers were 14167, Vanderslice.
Ray.
Howdy. My name's Ray. My X numbers were 7804.
Okay. All right. First topic: COVID-19 and how it has affected you, and just you being in the 104th and wherever you come from.
Thing in my school just got locked down for that.
Yes, I mean, we're about to get locked down. I'm already isolating. I got sent home.
You know,
Yes.
the one in North, it got locked down. It had literally 4 cases and they haven't locked it down until someone
Exactly.
locked it.
England's handling this a bit weirdly, I can't lie.
No, it's because we missed so much of our previous year. They're trying to cramp it all into one place.
Yeah, true. I get that.
Yeah, England's been a bit weird. I'm currently doing my mock exams for GCSE, which is like our
Oh shit, I forgot
second
about
to
this.
final,
Boy.
second to final test.
Damn. Currently, I am being quarantined in my dorm room because I have tested positive for COVID.
But
Oh,
don't
damn.
Yes.
Ooh.
Oh damn.
What
It's
word?
done.
You didn't tell me.
Doctor.
I've been in.
That is a fat rip.
Yeah. I've been in quarantine.
And we're all like, oh
since,
shit, sorry for your loss. And
since-
man was just still like,
Sorry for your loss,
Aye.
man.
that's a fat rip still.
I've been in
Like,
quarantine
that's all I can
since
say.
Monday. I've been in quarantine since Monday, and not gonna lie, it's fucking boring as fuck. I miss human interaction. So like.
Yeah, that makes
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah.
This is the best
Yeah,
you get.
nah, I got
I
90% on an introvert test. I hate humans.
COVID where I'm at now, it's not really bad. And I honestly have no clue how the fuck I got it. But the doctor was pretty much telling me that I'm pretty much asymptomatic, and the only reason why I'm showing symptoms now is because it's pretty much out of my body at that point. So,
Wait, what?
So like,
I-
so
I-
for example,
I-
hold up.
I meant
For
to
example,
like,
like,
is it a loop? What is this?
wait, can I? So like, let's say like you were to kiss me, like, I won't get
Bro,
COVID.
I know. What am I doing in Elite, bro?
So in
So,
here,
like,
if we
so
were
it's
to
out
do
of your
buzz
body.
cut, that'd be fine, right?
Spooky.
So like
Yo,
hypothetically speaking,
hypothetically speaking, right? At this point, if I kissed you, you probably would not have COVID.
all right. So
Okay.
so we're good.
Yeah,
with that.
yeah.
We can kiss you.
Making sure.
That's,
You man are
that's all we needed to know.
What about if you spit on me?
I mean, probably.
Bro, you man are
Yo.
tapped. You're
Um.
spooky, you know.
Okay, who's next?
I guess I'll
Spooky,
go.
that's right
Honestly,
there.
honestly, I can complain. I don't know what's up with you lot, but I live in Germany. The situation here is pretty much chill. I mean, we don't have that many cases, but I don't know anyone from my friends or family who got tested positive. I didn't catch the virus either, so I'm pretty good.
Okay.
I wonder if it's a little different because I'm in school. I don't know a couple of the other lads are.
Yeah,
We're a bit more
yeah.
enclosed, like
That's
it's harder to social distance.
Right. Okay. Next, Chiller.
Um, well, so far I've had, in cases in my school, there's been at least 3 students and 1 or 2 teachers. I don't really care for any of them. They're not me or my
I said
friends.
you should
So,
go deported back to America.
Right.
but at the same time, it's locking down my teachers because now they're all in their homes with their trash Wi-Fi. Offense to a lot of them because
Give them
I
hotspot
can never
then.
get
Give
my
them
work done.
hotspot.
Yeah, I feel that.
Give them
Right.
hotspot.
And then
Okay.
I try to go to like we have office hours. You come in for like an hour and then you what is it, you just talk about what needs to be done or what's missing. And I go to all my classes because I'm required to because of my last quarter grades. I can never talk to any of them straight because every second they're screen free, right?
Right.
So I'm stuck in a dilemma where I gotta know what to do, but I can never know what I should do
Right.
because I'm either wasting time or they're not cooperating with their Wi-Fi.
Right.
So it's a
Mom,
hard.
mom, stop. Mom, stop. Mom, don't hit me. Mom,
What the
Okay.
mom. Hold up, guys.
fuck?
Yeah, my mom does the
Yes.
same thing.
Okay.
Okay. Vander,
You know.
how's it
Yeah,
impacting you?
don't worry about Milos. He's a naughty boy. He
Okay.
constantly gets.
So my
I
quarantine, basically, uh, my school, we are terrible. And like when Rona first came around, we had like 20 people with it, and then they closed the school down for like 6 months, and now we only had to do like the 2 week thing for towards the beginning, I think. Uh, yeah, that's really good for my school, and I've also like just been vibing though, so it's all good.
That's good. That's good. Who's next? Who didn't go?
I'm glad you're safe. Ray.
Ray.
Ray didn't go. I'm a snitch on him.
I just don't want to talk.
Ray.
So, so there's been at least a case or like more than a case. I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. But in my school, and so we do this thing where we have groups, and then a group, goes to school each week, and then so I'm in a group that goes a week into school and then a week out of school, and then like the week that we are out of school, we go remote, and then so we just do that back and forth, and then but I kind of miss, like interacting with people and everything, like without the mask and everything. Kind of
Right.
miss that. But like, like the one positive thing about it is just, we can stay home at least, sleep more. That's
Yeah.
basically it.
All right. Switching
I
topics.
understand completely.
To the Mandalorian. Has everyone seen the new episode?
Nope.
I have only
I have
seen
to
the
watch
first
it
two
today.
See,
episodes.
I have to watch it
Yes.
today.
Okay, so I'm not going to be talking about the new episode since no one has seen it. But what we will be talking about is just what we should expect from the upcoming season and just what we should expect as a whole. Like what do we want to see? With that being said, I'm going to lead off the conversation. Uh, with the knowledge I know now, seeing the new episode, I do have a few complaints. I feel like Dave Filoni should have did things differently, um, and really influenced a lot more things in canon, such as uh, the actor who portrayed Ahsoka. Um, and should have just really went a different route with it, if that makes sense.
Unfortunately, I can't comment on that since I haven't seen the new episode.
Honestly, I don't really agree with that. First, I had suspicion. I wasn't too sure about if the choice of the Ahsoka actor is a good choice. But I think they did a good thing with makeup and
Oh
whatsoever
yeah,
to make her look like Ahsoka. But I have definitely some other complaints about the recent episode. Um, I don't want to spoil it that much. I just want to
We could
mention that
just server deafen them.
uh,
If
Just
whoever
server deafen
watches
them,
this
and
will will not be happy if they haven't seen the
um,
episode.
it's
yeah,
true.
yeah,
I think like the only thing with like when it came to makeup and stuff, there was like one thing that was just bugging me the entire time because it was so noticeable. But it wasn't like anything like just like end of the world kind of thing. But overall, I liked the episode. To be honest, it wasn't. I
I
like
mean,
the idea of it, I guess, but rather
I mean,
like
I
some of
can't
it
say
I
too
didn't like,
much.
but
Yeah, like I mean, going on from that, I mean, I haven't seen the episode. I mean, I've heard what's in it. It's kind of been spoiled already, so I kind of know what to expect. But for me, I think like I mean, a lot of people, especially like the old Clone Wars fan base, wanted to see a return of a big uh Clone Wars character, and it was always kind of hinted that we would get like maybe not Ahsoka herself, but someone big from the series would return. And I think, I mean, as you said, maybe Dave Filoni could have executed it a bit better in some ways.
right,
But I think in this episode, a lot of people were just pleased to actually just be able to see someone that
yeah.
they've bonded with already
I mean,
return and get a big show.
yeah, I mean, we've already gotten, Bo-Katan, which was in season 7 for the Clone Wars. I mean,
Mm,
that itself, like that, like her, the actor who played her is like a really good actor. Not only that, but she portrayed Bo-Katan
Yeah,
really well. And that's why I'm kind of upset
I agree.
about the actor, in which, don't get me wrong, this actor is a really good actor. I just feel like Ahsoka's part wasn't the best part for her, if that makes sense.
So, like, all right. So I watched, all those episodes and everything. I even watched the new one. To be honest, I kind of have like the same complaints as you do. One thing that stuck out to me was I'm not gonna. Well, I guess you can also like already say that. The people who did Ahsoka's makeup, like the pattern, that didn't really like make like did anything. I guess good. I guess because I saw it as like they didn't really like try. Like they tried obviously because
Yeah.
they're very yeah. But like like the pattern from the Clone Wars and then the pattern from you know this new episode, it's not it's not really like adding up. And like one thing that I want to like really see is one is an actor or not an actor a character that they mentioned in the new episode in the new episode. I'm kind of curious to see how he or she will look like.
Right. What I do like to say is that what was betrayed, I can understand, but between the Baby Yoda and whatnot. What really has me going is the fact that there were so many good theories that actually added up a lot leading up to this moment of finding out who and exactly what this creature is, and they're just kind of like, nah, that's not it. You know, that was one thing I didn't really like, but like it's good to know now. Um, but what I would really love to expect for the upcoming season and whatnot is to see more characters such as, say, um, the characters from Rebels, or say Luke Skywalker himself, and just things like that. Because overall, as the Mandalorian season keeps going, it's more. I feel like instead of going to the main plot, they just drag it out. You know? like what happened with the new episode and the two episodes before this one. It was kind of dragged out, you
Well,
know?
if I can intervene here, I mean that they are dragging out the story is only normal because you have a very small story, like it's only about Baby Yoda and finding his home,
Right.
and they can only fill up the episodes in between with side quests, like the space
You
spider
learn from
episode or the episode with the crate dragon. Those are all enjoyable, but they have to be there so we can enjoy the rather important episodes.
Right.
Yeah. One thing I would like to say is to do with like these little side quests. One thing I think they tried to do in episode 9, kind of like of the sequels, as in like the actual movies, is like making the galaxy feel a lot bigger. And I feel like these little side quests have done that. I mean, there's one. There's been a lot of references, like with like Boba Fett and that lot,
Mhm.
from
Yes,
like
and I really
Tatooine.
enjoyed that one. Yeah.
And I do enjoy little references like that, but it has also made the universe feel big. Like we've never really seen, ice spiders on an ice planet with
True.
a fish. Like it makes the galaxy feel a lot bigger because we're seeing things we don't fully understand, and we're getting a whole episode to explore it. And whilst it is not the plot of Mandalorian, it does make it does piece together the Star Wars universe a bit.
True. True.
I
True.
mean, like, all right. So if I can say something, like, so they're doing a really good job. Like how the Mandalorian and the Baby Yoda thing character is traveling and exploring new planets that we haven't even seen before. Like they're doing a really good job with that. Because to be honest, we've never seen any of these planets before in the Clone Wars series. They're doing like a really good job with that. I can give them that, because they're doing. I'm just impressed of how they are putting these animals and these like little like planets that we haven't even seen before.
Right. So I don't know. Have y'all seen the episode previous to this one? Like the ending of it?
I haven't
Yes.
seen the last two.
Okay. Chiller, you're excluded.
So
You're excluded. Right.
Mm.
But so I've done my research after watching it over and over again, or just that scene in general. And what comes to find out is a lot of people are agreeing with what I have found out. So the 20 people or things in those little bipods, they're actually death troopers, right? So it's not the normal death trooper like that's on like, the 2005 Battlefront 2, right? They look similar, like as in shape, but apparently, which I honestly didn't know this because I mainly follow, Clone Wars era shit, and stuff like that. But or rather, I focus more on that because it's bomb as hell. But apparently, these Death Troopers are there. There was three phases of them in the Galactic Empire era, right? They had phase one, which is it was more of a droid like. All their wires were um, protruding. They were very vulnerable. It wasn't really that much. Phase two, it was a little bit more bulkier. They had a lot more armor and an upgraded weapon system. Phase three, which is like fucking huge as hell, they're like not even compared to a B2 battle droid. Like they're hella huge and a lot more armor and a lot more
They're
weapon system,
basically
right?
battle droids on steroids.
Pretty much, right? Well, the reason why um what's his name? Um shit. Forgot his name, but the reason why that guy needs, Baby Yoda's blood is to pretty much um sustain not only like it ties into the Death Troopers and something else. So this also the reason why he needs Baby Yoda's blood is pretty much to reanimate Palpatine, right? This is the leading up to that moment in time for the sequels, right? So where the Death Troopers come in is he's pretty much made these droid-like beings that could also be used as a suit, such as Marvel reference Iron Man, right? So that's pretty much what these are. They can be self-controlled, meaning like I said, someone can get in them and then control them, and pretty much be unstoppable, if that makes sense, right? They're made out of full Beskar, which is a really high and really good metal in Star Wars canon, right? And you can see that as you watch The Mandalorian. And then not only that, but they can also be controlled by like they have their own mind, if that makes sense. Um, but I am actually like this is what I was pretty much expecting with the new episode. Like what I was expecting is since the Mando has a tracking beacon in his ship, I kind of expected as he goes to see or find Ahsoka, the remnants of the Empire come down, and then Mando and Ahsoka fight old dude with his death saber or dark saber with the fucking death or whatever the fuck they are. And that's what I was
Dark Saber.
yeah, dark saber. And that's what I was expecting, which not gonna lie, that would be pretty bomb as fuck, you know. Um but hopefully we'll see something about them in the next episode or season or whatnot.
I mean, okay, so I mean, to be honest, I really accepted that too as well. I was kind of like bummed that they didn't do that
Right.
because I really expected that old guy with the dark saber would like follow them or something, or like send someone over there to kill them or something. I don't know.
Right.
But I was really bummed out that they didn't even include, the Empire or anything.
Not
But
gonna lie,
What?
I would say I thought when they went to go meet Ahsoka, I thought she was gonna say that she's not a Jedi anymore and lead them to a Jedi who survived all the
Right.
66 or
I
something.
mean, yeah,
Or
I
lead
agree.
Yeah,
Yeah,
them or lead them to say the Kanan or Luke Skywalker, like I was stating earlier. That
Ezra.
yeah,
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 Ezra,
Kanan and Ezra, but like you know what I'm
yeah,
saying.
exactly.
Like that seems more logical.
yeah, yeah. Cause that even Mace Windu said she's not a Jedi anymore, and she must have taken that to heart. Cause
Right.
even in Rebel, she said she's no Jedi.
Right.
So then, yeah,
You know. With that being said, I feel like she's more, even though she hasn't really cut herself off fully from the Force. I feel like,
Force.
yeah, I feel like she is
yeah,
more of a, I don't want to say assassin, cause
I
mm,
mean, like well, she's
yeah,
not a Jedi, but she's neither a Sith. So, she's like in like
She's
she's
a
like
great Jedi.
more. She's like more like Jedi, but like not Sith. Like
yeah, great
it's like
Jedi,
a
yeah,
pacifist basically.
yeah. She's more of a Undertaker, if that makes sense, right?
Well, yeah.
yeah. She's not. She's just a glorified assassin.
Yeah, she's more
Basically,
assassin.
she does what's right. Basically.
Right. You know, and for those who haven't seen the newest episode, you will understand why I am saying this in the new episode, right? You can physically see why, right? Um,
Yeah.
anyone else would like to add anything towards this topic?
Hmm.
Well, this is a lot less to do with the new series. But can we just talk about how kind of the cowboy-esque sort of genre to do with like Wild West is kind of dying out, to be honest. This is a
Oh,
really great kind of
yeah,
cowboy but also Star Wars sci-fi mix, and I really love it. Like from everything to do like with the music to the Mandalorian's attitude, I really enjoy that kind of.
Hell yeah, totally.
I think
yeah,
since the other reason I think this is so successful is that we only have seen the Skywalkers and Jedi and stuff, and this gives us kind of like a break from that and seeing especially the in
Breathing
between
room.
from 6 to 7, and we don't really know that much. There's like really one major thing that's happened between that,
Right.
and
I mean,
they're
like
using
it's
Marvel,
like a
and
little
that's it.
change,
And
basically.
yeah, it gives us a change, and it sees especially like the Mandalorians or whatever, and the different type of Mandalorian. If you've seen the last episode, you will understand what I'm saying. But there's you get to see a different type of Mandalorians interact with each other, and it's very enjoyable to watch, and it adds its own things to the universe,
Right.
and I really enjoy
I
it.
think
Right.
also the Mandalorians are kind of presented as like a killer race, like especially in the Clone Wars. You hear about how they used to be I don't know what the word would be, like I guess war maybe race,
Well,
where they'd go
terrorist
around and
That
kill
was
stuff
that was
before they
because of
became
their old
peaceful.
religion. That was because of their old
Yeah,
religion.
Oh,
but you never really
well,
it's
really
called.
see that from it. Like they
Oh,
they're
what's
they're
it, what's it,
decent, but they're never that strong. This, you get to see an actual Mandalorian who is presented as, almost like a demigod. Like, he's almost as strong as, like, some Jedi have been,
But then
And
you
granted, it has
also
his armor and his weapons, but,
you also more or less he's like a Star Wars Batman, right?
I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
like,
That man is still mortal. He can still die.
so
But then once he gets his fancy stuff, he's very, very hard to kill.
Exactly.
He nearly got a pack. Very
Oh yeah.
destructive.
so like what you said with the like their like old ancestors, they were killed and everything. I mean, I think that it's based on the clan that they're in. Because in some clans, I guess, I mean, they don't like intend to kill, I guess you can say. But like in the clan that he was in, or in the clan that he is in, or whatever, they're I guess like killers, I guess you can say.
Right. But then again, like I said about this topic, it also it so the Mandalorian displays the two major clans and really the two major religions within the Mandalorian, right? In which the whole purpose, if he didn't know that, there was two, because he was a I guess you can say foundling, right?
Yeah, he
Of
was.
Yeah.
the old religion, right? He didn't know anything else, and
Yeah,
when he met Bo-Katan and she took off her helmet, he's just like, "Yo, you're not Mandalorian," you know.
you're
And
reject.
Yeah.
right, and she pretty much broke it down like, "Yo, you were a foundling of a dying religion, right?" And he's just like,
Well, not
"Oh,
even dying religion. It's just its own sub thing, and
Suck.
that whole religion. If
right,
I hope you guys don't mind me,
right,
what it is basically, it goes from how the Death Watch are like super like active, and they wanted to destroy the new Mandalorian way, being pacifistic. They don't want to be involved in wars anymore and change their old ways. While the Watch basically is they're trying to revive the old ways of the Mandalorian, which is to not take off your helmet and such.
right." And
And when like you were saying, when he sees Bo-Katan take off her helmet, he gets offended because he's like, "You're not Mandalorian. This is not the way."
right,
And so he sees it as heresy basically to him,
pretty
and
much.
he's like, "You can't be Mandalorian. This is not the way."
Right. And which also brings me another question that just popped in my head, right? On that episode, she was talking about using that ship that they got to taking back Mandalore. So, but in season 7, didn't they win control over Mandalore? Is there something that
I
happened
have
after that fact that they took Mandalore, that the Death Watch or the Empire in general took
so.
Mandalore back?
Did you guys? How many of you have finished all of Rebels? Just out of curiosity, because I
Yeah.
have a theory about this. When I saw the end of the
I have.
first season,
I haven't finished it, but I kind of kept up with it.
I tried to keep up with that, and I couldn't.
Yeah.
so basically, um, Ezra and them they went to Malta with the Darksaber, and Sabine, she I'm pretty sure if I remember correctly, she actually got the Darksaber from Maul or something. I know she was training with it in
It
Kanan
was.
and stuff in
I
Rebels.
think of Rebels. Ezra found the dark saber and Duff and gave it to
Yeah, and I think he gave it to her after finding it or something, or Kanan found it and took. I don't know. I forget exactly the details of that were, but I do remember. So my theory is that he, or the last person we know of that had it was Sabine, and she went to go find Ezra with Ahsoka. And so I think she gave it to someone on Mandalore after they had revolted and they kicked off the Empire off the planet. But I think later, um, Governor Gideon or whatever, I forget whatever his name is,
Yeah.
I think he came back to conquer back Mandalore, and I think he killed whoever was the ruler at the time and stole the Darksaber, and then he ruled over it. And then
So do you
and then
think that was
after,
do you think that was the Mandalorian purge? Or the purge of Mandalore?
yes, that's what it is.
Okay.
I'm like 99% sure that that's what they mean by the purge is when, or it's Moff Gideon, that's when it came back to me. that Moff Gideon came back and wiped out and purged all of them, and that's why they're so scattered, and that's why they're so hard to find, and that's why Bo-Katan is trying to get the Darksaber back to unite again all the clans of Mandalore, and that's why it's kind of crazy to see Moff Gideon have it, and now we see kind of what I think is going to happen later,
Right.
and how it's going to incorporate into the Mandalorian.
Right. All right. Switching topics now to what should we expect with the new EA game that has been confirmed?
I haven't
So
heard much about it, unfortunately.
so I haven't they haven't released a title, but what I was reading and watching is that this new EA game is supposed to be um upon a character that you pretty much create yourself. This is just one of the EA games that have been confirmed, right? It's pretty much you're creating a character of yourself, and you're pretty much going on these quests. It's more, in my opinion, I feel like it's going to be more of a customizable Fallen Order, right? But instead of you being a Jedi, you can get the option, right? You can either be a Jedi, a Sith, bounty hunter, and so on and so forth, right? It's supposed to date between but it's pretty much between after episode 3 and 4, or between episode 3 and 4.
To be honest, like I kind of wish they did it went during the Clone Wars or the starting of the Clone Wars, so that we can get that experience of being a Padawan during the Clone Wars, and then, you know, processing on to a Jedi, and then being a Master Jedi, or somewhere around that, kind of idea, just to like know how know just like know how it felt to be a Padawan, a Jedi, or a Master Jedi, or a Sith, or whatever during the Clone Wars. To be honest, because I'm a big Clone Wars fan. I'm not a big Imperial and what do you call it? Imperial or Order or whatever.
Kind of
I'm
all
not
right.
like I'm not a big fan of that. So
Right. My main concern is because a lot of Star Wars fans that play, Star Wars games and whatnot, really enjoy Battlefront, especially Battlefront 2. Even though, it had its mishaps at the beginning of its launch, it is still thriving, right? It is still thriving. Not as much as what it was within the prior months, but it is still thriving, right? So what a lot of fans and including myself is what we're wondering is why would you make something, right? That one the fans don't really want at that moment, or something that the fans know it's not going to be that popular in the dying months. It's not going to draw me back, right? And that was the whole issue with Squadrons and uh, First Order, not First Order, Fallen Order, right? After you beat it, there's not really a reason to come back to it, right? Because
exactly.
it took 2 months after Final Order's release for it to get New Game Plus. And not only that, but in New Game Plus, you don't get all of, you know, certain things that normal games that are like that you would get in a New Game Plus. Like for instance, God of War, right? If I go into God of War right now and I
Love
go
it.
into New
Yeah.
Game Plus, I get, all the maps and all that jazz and all my gear and whatnot, right? You get that, but not the maps. You pretty much would have to restart the entire game just with skins and lightsabers and all that stuff, you know? And Squadrons, when it released, which I knew was going to be a flop, right? Because they released it bare. There was nothing coming out with it. Now they're coming out with it, but it's been out for like almost 3 months, you know? Not saying it's a bad game. What I'm saying is EA's not fulfilling what the fans want. They're not listening to us, right? So
I agree.
the main question here is why would they bench their star player on the basketball team to pull up this rookie that just made the team by chance? You know?
And like putting all their eggs in the wrong basket.
Right. Right. So the question is, are they going to make a Battlefront 3? I hope so. A lot of
I,
a lot
to
of
be
You can
honest,
do. You still can do a lot with that, in my
exactly.
opinion.
And not only that,
I don't think right now they're not going to make a Battlefront 3, only because Battlefront or Battlefield 6 is still being worked on and it's not going to be released till next year. And usually, what they do is with the Battlefront, well, was recently with Battlefront and Battlefield, is that they usually will work on one, give it a year, and then the next year they'll either make a new game or experiment more with the last game or something.
right,
But usually, what's been happening is that they made Battlefront One, they made Battlefield One, then they made Battlefront Two, and then now they were working on Battlefield Five, and then they started fixing Battlefront Two, and that took a long time. And
right.
then they stopped, and because of them stopping for early, what I thought was early for it to end out.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
Um, and then Battlefield 6 is in the works right now. I have very, very high hopes with it.
Oh yeah,
Just because I've really liked Battlefield,
right.
and then I think what's going to end up happening is that year after Battlefield 6 is released, such I think that's when they're going to focus more on a Battlefront 3.
Yeah. Now, honestly, what I would love to see EA do, which is probably never going to happen, is kind of incorporate things from Battlefield, such as you can fucking shoot a rocket at a building and explode and then fall. I'd
Or
literally,
Resin.
right.
That
I'd,
would
I'd
yeah,
I would literally, do so many things. I can't say because it's YouTube, but I would literally do so many things from joy if I can literally just sit there with a TX 130, shoot a building that has like 20 people in it, and the building just collapse and kill them all. You know,
Aye,
Yeah.
that's a bit mad. But
like
still, like,
literally that right there, what I just described would probably bring a lot of
not be PG.
people, to the game
From
itself.
both communities,
Right,
from Battlefield and
It's
Battlefront.
right.
quite psychotic.
It's literally like a
Yeah,
match made
go
in
on.
heaven. It's literally like if Yoda
For
made
psychotics,
a
for
baby
psychotics.
with like I don't know some other powerful Jedi, and then like this little baby's like insane,
Ye.
Um, but with that being said, I feel I agree with you, Vander, on how they shouldn't have stopped, working on Battlefront 2 as early
Yeah.
as they
Because
did.
it's still it's like when I think of trying to play, I'm like, because I'm burnt out of it, and that's why probably the reason why I left 104 is just I couldn't play anymore. It was not fun to me anymore.
Right.
But like I feel like they could have added so much more. They could have added more maps. They could have tweaked some things. They could have,
Right.
there was so much more that they could have done with the game.
Right. Adding more
They,
characters. Like, why do we need
Hmm.
3 Han
they
Solos,
could have
Millennium
actually made
Falcons, and
Scarlet.
Starfighters?
Yeah.
You know?
Well, if I can add my
Season.
opinion real quick,
Season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
one of the things I find super weird is that they update and put so much effort into making the game good again. Because I think we can all admit, on launch,
It
bit
was
iffy of a
terrible.
game. Yeah, it was a bit
It
iffy.
was almost
And
unplayable.
they added so many updates that made
Yeah.
the game so great. Like,
Right.
think about all of the stuff that we use
Yeah.
every day that makes the game great for the people still in the 104. It's a really, really good game now.
Right.
But I don't understand why they just stopped updating it. Like, I understand that coronavirus kind of got in the way, and it might have, stopped some of their initial plans. But
Because there was a lot of unfinished projects, like Ahsoka and whoever else were gonna add,
it baffles me
Eventually
why they
that
put in so much effort in. I guess it's because they weren't making as much money. But then,
Probably.
what was the point of putting in all of that effort? Because they made the game go from something that was pretty low tier to one of a really, really good game,
Right.
and then they just stopped working on it all of a sudden.
Yeah. I honestly still don't understand because if you look at GTA 5 for example, that game has been out for like what, 6 7 years now?
and they're still
Yeah,
milking it to this day.
Yes, like literally within like shit, 3 or 4 weeks
I'm playing it right now.
there's supposed to be another update in 3 or 4 weeks. There's
Yeah,
supposed to
I
be
saw I saw that. Yeah,
there's going to be a new island with a submarine, a nuclear submarine. Like this game has
Yeah,
been
that's
out
insane.
6 7 years and they're still updating it. This game hasn't even been out half of that or close to half. You know? It's just I don't know. It's really upsetting with EA's part, Like not gonna lie, they make really good games. but it's to the point where fuck, Lucasfilm was pretty much like, hey, if you don't make good Star Wars content, we're gonna void our contract. So I guess that's why they did their final update. Um, if that makes sense, to kind of milk it up a little bit for its last time. But like we all said, there could have been a lot more. Like you could have, like they could have added, more characters such as Rex, Cody, or just something in general, as a star character.
I do find it a little bit scummy almost that they did bring out like the I can't remember the name of it exactly, but the £35 pack that you could buy. Or I don't know how much it is in dollars in the conversion, but that you would get all future skins for the game, and then they stopped updating it. It feels very much like they worked up the game because they had a great community, and realized the money wasn't coming in anymore, and people who are higher up, people that didn't actually care about Star Wars, they just see it as a money making machine. Went,
Yeah,
okay,
I mean,
reap all of the rewards. F the game. It doesn't matter anymore.
because I
It
mean, like,
really is upsetting.
imagine having like Utapau added,
Right.
or
My
and then
Guido.
having the
Megiddo.
212. Yeah, my Guido. I knew my Guido was supposed to be a plan, and I
Yeah,
was
yeah,
thinking,
It was
they'd
like an
add my favorite.
April Fool's thing, man.
yeah. Megiddo was
Yeah,
supposed to be.
and I'm pretty sure Utapau was in the works too, and they were thinking about adding that. And I was like, imagine with those updates they'd add the 21st Nova Corps to not Utapau, Megiddo, and then Utapau they'd add the 212th Airborne
Right,
because I love the 212th Airborne helmets. Those are my favorite.
right.
And then the 21st Nova Corps, they're my favorite battalion, and then the whole, or well, corps in all of Star Wars.
You know.
I think
You
if I may add, I was talking to my older brother about this when I was playing the 2005 Battlefront, the second one.
Mm-hmm.
I love the ship battles
Oh
in that
yeah.
game. One of my favorite things. You can
Yeah,
go to
Yeah.
ship to ship, and I had a thought
the
like if
guns
they
on
brought that into the new Battlefront, if they actually like kind of interpreted that into the new Battlefront, I wouldn't consider it as copying because they kind of it's already been there.
Right.
So I would think in this day and age of what we can do now, it would be a major, grateful upgrade that we all enjoy without a doubt.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
And I was thinking if Battlefront 3, God hope, a dream could be done, that would be my dream if we can bring back those ship battles that I know
yeah,
we like. If you play the old Battlefront, we'd all enjoy.
Oh, most definitely. With the incorporated, battlefield shit, that would
Yeah,
literally be the ideal Star Wars game we'd all want and would all enjoy.
do you know one thing I find a little weird? Obviously, video games are for everyone of all ages, but
Right.
I think the more dominant audience, or especially the main demographic, is kids from around about like an age of maybe 10, let's say at the very lowest, to
Right.
about like 20, going from 30, and that's also the main demographic for the Clone Wars. I think anyone above kind of 30 is more into the original trilogy. Anyone a bit below 10 is going to grow up with the new movies. And even though I personally don't like the new movies, that'll be
Right.
the movies they grew up with, so they'll probably like that more.
Right.
And I'm not going to have a go at them for that. Um, the first three movies were pretty bad, and some people say that, but I enjoyed them because they were the movies I grew up with.
Right.
So I
yeah.
don't understand why they haven't seen that video games and Clone Wars have grown up with a similar generation,
Right.
and they haven't just made a new Clone Wars game that's just Clone Wars. Like I know we had Clone Commando and a couple other ones, but we haven't had one within
Those
the
are
last
older,
like one
yeah.
or two
I'm still waiting for that
decades.
second
I
Clone
don't think we've
Commando.
had one since about 2010 where we have had a new just Clone Wars game
Right.
with polished graphics, especially with
Yeah,
like the
true.
PS5 and newer PCs coming out and
Right.
the Xbox S series.
It would be
I'm
like
confused why we haven't seen one of them come out.
Right. And not only that, but I hope since Squadrons is cross compatible, or I'm sorry, cross play, right? I hope and I pray to God that these upcoming games are going to be like that because I'm hearing and I'm reading a lot of newer and upcoming games are all going to be like that, right? So I'm hoping and I'm praying to God that they are like this because this would benefit the 104th in general overall. Just imagine, right? You're sitting here in a lobby with PC players and Xbox players while you're sitting there on your couch with your PlayStation, right? Like the ideal. It's insane. And it bring us together more as a whole. Because
You
I
know,
know
waterfall. You
Real
know what?
true.
what.
So a little side topic. You know what Cold War is doing? Call of
Mm,
Duty Cold War.
what I might know. What are they doing?
Um, so in their settings, well, if you can change, it's like you can change of who you want to play with. Like you can change from crossplay if you're on Xbox, you can just play with Xbox people, right?
Yeah,
So
Yeah, they have
I
the
don't think
modern.
I've.
yeah,
I think they've only added that on those two games of Modern Warfare and Call of Duty, but
yeah.
I'm sure you can add that to any other game,
Oh
right?
yeah, most
It's not
definitely,
really
Pretty sure.
most
a
definitely.
different topic, but
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you can do that now to Battlefront too. Like, there's no doubt in my mind you can do it.
that I've heard of.
But I feel like when the game launched and how quickly it died out at the beginning and then revamped, it was more of a we can do it, but there's not enough tension and it's not bringing in enough money, so we're just not going to.
Yeah.
Mm.
I see that.
I think one of the reasons we haven't seen a new Battlefront, 3 or whatever game is as you guys were saying, video games are changing quite a lot. We're having cross-play getting introduced, new consoles coming out, graphics are improving, and with how bad kind of the
And
Battlefront
they're
2
fixing
did
to come up
from
with a
the
new.
beginning,
They're
I
fixing to come up with a new game engine or whatever, and it's the Unreal Engine 5, and what I've heard is going to be massive when it comes to making like the new games and stuff. Because like imagine what Battlefront 2 looks like right now, but then imagine a whole new basically
yeah.
operating system
Well,
on
I
a
think
Battlefront 3. It would be so crisp to play on.
Right.
Yeah, I think with all of this stuff coming out, I think a lot of games companies, and maybe one of the reasons we're not seeing any more Star Wars games just yet, is they're waiting for this stuff to get out, waiting for it to be tried and tested by other companies, and then for like them to swoop in, like EA and the bigger ones
Oh
to
yeah.
swoop in and come up with the good newer games.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it's changed to get it wrong and waste time and money on something that isn't right.
Right. To add on to what you were saying, I do agree because if you look back at Star Wars Battlefront 1 2015, when me as a little small child, yes, I was, 12, no, no, no. I was 14, right? So when that
Small
game,
waterfall.
yeah, I was short, all right.
I was a wee boy.
I was a small little boy, all right. When that game came out and I seen it, the trailer, I was just like, oh my fucking god, the graphics are insane, right? Fast
Mhm.
forward that to Battlefront 2, I'm just like, holy shit, they're getting better. Is there any better? Can it get any better, right?
They can.
And
They just
so,
don't. They won't make it.
right, and with the PS5 and the new Xbox Series, which will undoubtedly never destroy PC because PC is insane, right? With the graphics that are coming out now, it literally will be so realistic, it's unrealistic.
Yeah, like imagine because I'm on my PC right now. Like imagine my 2060 Super running a Battlefront 3 on the Unreal Engine 5. Like that to me
Right,
sounds fucking crazy.
right. You know, like undoubtedly, now that my eyes have gotten used to the graphics of Battlefront 2, right? It's just like, oh, okay, this is normal. But seeing it for the first time, it's just like, holy hell, man. Game's lit as fuck, you know?
Mm.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
personally, if I think about it from my point of view, I mean, I think most people that like Star Wars and like the games, have the same kind of experience as you. 2015, they kind of went through the shock and awe phase of seeing this beautiful game coming out. But they've had their downfalls. I mean, I don't know if this has been said, but I mean, Battlefront 2015, people had a lot of outrage with the fact that
It was only
they're only
multiplayer, yeah, it was only multiplayer.
yeah, exactly. You didn't have like people that didn't have good internet or didn't have internet at all, didn't really have that kind of fallback. I
Right,
mean, it only had one error. It only didn't have a offline. It only had like a few little game modes, not an actual story.
right,
Um, Battlefront 2 obviously improved on that. It one-upped itself, but then even with launch, there was still a load of things that Battlefront 2 just didn't improve upon. The whole loot crate system,
yeah,
the whole hero unlocking system, that was a big problem that
right.
they didn't really address until
Major.
recently, and then they've cut support. So I think a new EA game or a new Star Wars game from them. I mean, I think maybe they should definitely have learned from these lessons,
Oh yeah,
and I
most
think
definitely.
yeah, exactly. So going forward, I think we should see a very good game coming out in the future that builds on everything that we have here
I
and
hope
also
so.
improves on the original mistakes that they made at launch. So hopefully, it's
Right.
looking bright in the future.
And really the main basis of the game for 2015, right? They pretty much made the game based off of the whole circle of other multiplayer games, right? They literally
Mm,
looked at the census of who's playing what and how long are they playing it for and so on and so forth. They pretty much tried to incorporate Star Wars in a Call of Duty because Call of
yeah, I see that.
nowadays or just games in general, they're pretty much play or pay to win, right? So that's
Mm,
pretty much tried to imply that, right? Such as you could get the all the DLCs for
Pizza.
2015 if you got the Ultimate Edition, right?
mm,
But if you just buy the standard, you have to grind your motherfucking ass off just to get what little Timmy from the other side of the street has when his mom pays for his shit, you know?
yeah, I see that.
And
Uh,
they tried to, as we all could see, they tried to extend that into Battlefront 2. And the main goal that I hope they seen is you don't implement pay to win on a Star Wars game.
I think I think what they did do is make a big mess up of the kind of fan base that they were marketing this game to.
Right.
I mean, as you said, Call of Duty has a different world fan base. It's a completely different world to kind of what you're used to in a Star Wars game. The Star Wars fan base is completely different, and the way they did that wasn't right at all. Which is why you can see it had the best. The backlash was immense. You had people that just basically
Yeah.
bought the game on launch day and then put no time or effort into it because they realized it wasn't for them. So
Right.
hopefully they've learned from that. They won't do that, and we'll see a semi decent launch, better than what has been in the past.
Right.
I just deep. This is a press conference.
All right. With that being said,
I do.
oh wait, continue, and then I'll finish.
No, I was just gonna say one thing from a business point of view. I've seen it. It happens with lots of games. You have COD, for example, where you buy your little packs of your guns, and Fortnite of your skin. I don't think they will just full on remove the microtransaction part of
Mm,
the game. I just hope that if they
No, they
do add
won't.
it, which they almost likely will, because they are still a business and they still do want revenue.
True.
yeah,
I hope
true.
that they make it
Yeah,
okay and not needed to buy to play the game.
Right.
That's just one of my concerns.
yeah.